Hello, Kyle here. I just got back from chopping some wood up at Site 3, working on my upcoming Nuit Blanche project, which I believe I've described as being a very boring and lazy project. I've since taken all the wood that I cut at the shop and brought it home. My plan was to use a strap clamp, which I've talked about in previous videos, which is a very awesome way for making frames. I'm just going to say it's a low poly count circle. So the plan was to use these to sort of convert the 90-degree angles of the inside of the strap clamp into, forget the explanation, it basically would have made it work on the circle. However, my strap clamps seem to not be at the shop or in my studio. I think they're either at my parents' or Brad's place. Instead of giving up, I'm an artist, it's kind of my job to be creative, I guess. So I just used packing tape, but rather than good quality packing tape, I used really crappy dollar store packing tape, which is kind of interesting because it's much more flexible and stretchy. So as I was wrapping the packing tape around the circle, I was able to pull pretty hard, and I actually was able to get enough tension that the glue started squeezing out of all the joints. I'm suspecting that maybe 80% of these will actually be sufficiently glued and won't require any screwing or nailing. Cut to 11 1/4, 11. Yeah, so 22.5-degree angle is very hard to kind of drill a screw in and get it to go because, if I put it in here, it's going to go like that. It's not going to actually get into the other piece unless I drill on an extreme angle, but I don't have the hardware for that yet, so that's not really an option for me. So I'm hoping just glue is enough. And yes, I was smart enough to remember not to glue every single piece. I believe I've left those two and one of those sets unglued. That's because this isn't one continuous circle, it's actually going to be two half circles. Mylar is going to wrap around it, making a screen that is a half circle that will lean against the wall, which will have pretty light patterns projected on it. There might be an interactive element as well, but that depends on whether or not I can get my motion sensor to work with my Arduinos or my wiring boards. I have a feeling I was actually sent motion detectors rather than ultrasonic rangefinders. They seem to be giving me an on-off rather than... Well, thank you, camera, for turning yourself off. Anyway, I seem to be having trouble getting an analog signal out of them, so the interactive element is probably not going to happen in time for Nuit Blanche. But that's okay, because the interactive element probably wasn't going to add a lot to the aesthetics of the project. It was only kind of really there to add the conceptual half, or to make the piece actually make some sort of statement. But that's really not relevant, because my number one rule has always been, if it ever comes to a conflict between concept and aesthetics, aesthetics should always win, because I think art is shit you look at. And I'd rather look at pretty shit than stupid, hideous, ugly shit that, has a good essay backing it. I'm not saying art shouldn't say anything, I'm just saying it, art that says a whole lot but still looks like shit isn't worth much. Well, now that that's glued, it's going to take at least an hour before I can touch it. Since it's not clamped properly, I'm probably going to give it closer to 3 or 4 hours. So, I guess it's Photoshop or video editing or watching movie time. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But that is your, I guess, I want to say daily studio update, but it's been quite a while since my last video. So, yeah, whatever. Thanks for watching. And come to Site 3 for Nuit Blanche, because there's going to be some cool stuff on display, so come check it out.